Live this morning, Facebook Live, that is, from my office in Lehi, Utah, very close to the company headquarters. Love doing these on Friday mornings. Great chance to have a wonderful conversation about the business and what's happening. Amazing things going on right now in this business, and I have to say I'm super excited about a lot of these new developments. It seems like it's a new day out there. It's interesting to me that I've been like watching this whole thing take place over the last several weeks, and it's been interesting to note that it's a totally different way of building the business than I've ever been involved in regards to this social media. It's really exciting to see it take off. And it's interesting to note what it's doing and what it's not doing, and who has success and who has a harder time having success with it, and why those things happen. But we're learning a lot, and I am fully engaged digging into this and trying to understand exactly the key pressure points. Many of you know that I did a brief presentation last week at Team Elite University, and on my Friday presentation I showed a simple methodology of plugging into to social media. And I want to thank Rebecca Morris and Carla Hill and Laura Call and Julia Toth and others. Madi Martinelli and Casey Council and several other people, Kate Williams and others that are now contributing really significantly to what we're learning about this really awesome, thing that's happening with social media. And it's not just, about toothpaste either, right? There's a lot of great things that are happening with other products, and we're going to see a lot of great things happen on social media regarding ageLOC Me as well, and we've got some amazing announcements coming on that here just shortly. So the world's a shrinking place. We can talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime, just like we're doing right here, right now. And it's so exciting to know that we can leverage this tool, this new medium, to connect with so many people. And I have to say I'm a real believer in it, watching what's happened over the last couple of months and specifically the last few weeks. So it's exciting times that we have happening right here at Nu Skin. I've said this in the past couple of months. When we couple together this social media front end with what we're doing in our compensation structure for the last 3 decades, having both sides of this equation working is unbelievably dynamic, like really, really powerful. So we're going to be doing a lot more work on this, a lot more training. Excited to have all of you as you come to Team Elite University in March. Plug into the social media section we're going to do on Saturday. We're going to have several hours of training on this so that we understand what it is, you learn what it is, your people learn what it is, and it will be a significant boot camp, so to speak, if you will, on Saturday morning to discuss how this works, why it works, and how you can implement this in your business. So it's really, really cool, very exciting. All right. Having said that, I think that we sent out a little note that today I'm going to speak about recruiting up. In the last several weeks, if you've been watching these Friday's Generals calls at all these Facebook Lives that we've been doing, I have talked about the art of inviting. I've talked about overcoming objections and having the right kinds of answers for those and other topics. And today is another one of these basic topics. And if you're plugging into System 7 here with One Team Global, you understand kind of the process. System 7 just really codifies the workflow of getting the business accomplished. And that's all it's really done over these years, creating guidelines that help us, that we can move faster, we can work together, we can accomplish more than we ever can without having a system, without being able to have these guidelines that allow us to know how to help each other and how to grow our businesses in a faster and better way. So this is one of these basic topics that fits inside of the workflow. And this has to do with, really, it's kind of more of a philosophical topic about how you can increase the velocity of the growth of your business. And it has to do with recruiting up. And it doesn't really matter whether you're social media just doing whitening paste, and you're taking that contact base, that funnel that allows you to create, and taking those people that are coming in and having this product experience, and it increases their confidence in the company, or whether you're going directly to people with ageLOC Me or TR90 or the facial spa or some other product we have in the amazing portfolio of products we have at Nu Skin. This is just another way to sift through all these kind of contacts, And whether you're approaching people directly as a business, approach like I've normally done my entire career, or whether you're doing a product approach to people, it really doesn't matter. What the whole process is of what we do is we expose people to our products and our business. We get them involved in our business, and then we upgrade them in our business. Expose, involve, upgrade, right? That's the process of what we are accomplishing as we bring people through this idea of participating in a company, an idea of having their own business of their very own that they can work out of their house and take control of their future. So no matter what that approach is, this concept of recruiting up applies in every one of these situations, right? It's just a pool of contacts. We're trying to upgrade these contacts. And so let's talk about what it means. What happens today is that when you go out and you talk to people, most people, they have this economic strata of life, if you will, and we maybe could call it an economic food chain, okay? And the economic food chain kind of looks like this. On the bottom is a 0, okay, and on the top is a 10. We'll just call it a 1 to 10 scale. And we've got all these different spots from 0 to 10 in our scale. What most people view themselves as on this economic food chain of life is most people view themselves as a number 7. Okay, what they think is this. They think, well, I know quite a few people that make less money than me, that have less, favorable economic circumstances than I do. But I also know a few people that have significantly better economic circumstances than I enjoy in my life today. Those would be the 8s and 9s and 10s. Underneath them, they've got, if they're a 7, 6s, 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, right? And so what people have a tendency to do, and I've watched this over all these years, is that we seem to have this false sense of more confidence if we're a 7 and we go talk to a 6 or a 5 or a 4, right? Because we feel like, hey, I'm doing better than them. I probably know something that they don't know, or I've got this like financial confidence that I'm a little bit above them on the economic strata. So I'm going to be benevolent and I'm going to go down to these lower stratas and I'm going to lift people up. It's a great thought, right? Very altruistic. I'm going to go out there and take these 3s and 4s and I'm going to pull them up to my level at least, and I'll hopefully pull them along with me as I exercise my new skin opportunity and take myself from a 7 to an 8, and then from an 8 to a 9, and ultimately from a 9 to a 10 on the economic food chain of life. So what happens because of this benevolent attitude, this tendency to go and recruit down, okay, to recruit people that have a lesser economic strata than you have, so to speak, then what happens is we have this devolving process. If you're a 7 and you feel like, okay, I can go talk to these 6s with confidence, right? Then maybe you recruit some of the 6s. And the 6s look at it and they go, yeah, I can recruit these 5s with confidence. And so they go recruit the 5s. And then the 5s end up thinking, well, I need to talk to somebody, just a little below my strata. They get 4s and 3s and 2s and 1s. And pretty soon what you have people recruiting is you have people that are recruiting people that literally don't have the kinds of circles of influence or the levels of personal confidence to really go out and make a really big difference. Now, I'm all for taking anybody who's got, burning desire in their heart and raising those people up. What I'm talking about is not that, okay? What I'm talking about is there are certain economic stratas where you're not going to make a lot of progress in building your business, right? I mean, if you've got people that are chronically unemployed and you think, man, they could really use this, it's probably true, but there's a bigger reason as to why they are chronically unemployed. And, if they're down on a 1 or a 2 on this scale and they just consistently struggle and they have no real income and they're just in survival mode, those people are not in a place mentally where they're going to really be able to connect with others in a positive, productive way potentially and build their business. Now, I've run across people in building my business who are broke, who have had to sell their cars, sell their furniture to make the business work, and they did make it work. And the difference was that these people were entrepreneurs who had, fallen on hard times, and they had lost their businesses, or they had foreclosures of a big nature in their construction businesses, or home building business or other kind of a business. And we saw this in mass in 2008, 9, 2010, 2011. There were mass numbers of people underemployed or not employed that were good people that had come out of kind of entrepreneurial situations and ended up having no jobs, right? So if I have an entrepreneur who's broke, it doesn't mean that that person is on the economic food chain of a 1 or a 2 or a 3. If I have somebody who's chronically unemployed, who's chronically, down on the bottom end of that, okay, then it's going to be more difficult because mentally they're not there. They don't understand success principles. They have never maybe had a success in their life before, and it's going to be difficult, okay? Now, they can maybe participate in a much lower, smaller way or something like that. Great, no problem. We can bring them in, we can teach them, we can help those people to start to change who they are and what they believe, and that's going to happen by them involving themselves and being around people that are more successful, and by being willing to sacrifice, to give up the television, to give up things they're doing that are not productive and be able to get productive. They've got to start reading, right? Leaders are readers, right? As Dan McCormick always says. And this is no joke, man. You've got to feed your brain. You got to stoke the fire inside of you and get yourself moving so that you can have a bigger thing. And that goes back to setting your goals, right? What's the first step in the workflow with anybody who's attempting to start this business? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish, right? If people don't have goals or they've lost sight of their goals, then there is no hope. They have no vision. They have no idea the track they're going to run on, right? And so this is critical that you make sure you do that step with people. You got to find out what they want. What do you want out of this thing? What are your goals? What are your objectives? What are you trying to have happen by your involvement in this business, right? And so sometimes it's just a simple thing. Sometimes it's my goal is to make $500 a month. I want to make $200 a month. I want to make a car payment. Fantastic, We've got phenomenal products. We've got amazing systems and programs, and you can do that this week, right? And we're seeing people do that right now by just plugging in toothpaste, literally a simple thing like that on social media. So simple to do that, right? So we have to understand what those goals are. Now, here's what I want to, here's the main point I want to make. If you are an economic strata, you sit at number 7 on that scale of 1 to 10. What I want you to start thinking about is I need to be talking to 8s, and I got to be talking to 9s. And maybe you don't have the confidence to talk to a 10 today, but as you get into this business and start to taste success, you're going to have the confidence to talk to a number 10. So what we want to do is consciously recruit up in the process. Why do we want to do that? Okay, because the higher people sit on this economic food chain of life, the more success they've typically had, the broader their circle of influence is, the more credibility they have with that circle of influence, right? People are going to have a tendency to listen to these people more. And number 10, or kind of my last one on the top, is if they've been an entrepreneur, they've been a successful business owner, they get it. They get it like people who've never owned their own business can never get it. They can't understand what these people understand. Like what? What am I talking about? Pressure, making payroll, like huge problems with inventories and products and product recalls and shipping and like conflicts with partners and distribution and marketing and advertising and legal challenges and just all the things that go along with having your own enterprise where you're responsible for all the functions of that business to make it work. You take a person who's been an employee their whole life, impossible for them to understand those kinds of things. They've never run through those functions. They've just focused on one function and one thing they possibly do in the business or the job that they have, right? And so in the process of these people going through this, they have a greater appreciation for risk. And that makes them really appreciate what they find when they come to Nu Skin. This business that can scale in a really amazing, very fast way, and that happens with no inventory, no debt, no risk, no bankers, no notes to sign, no guarantees to place, right? No bank covenants that you have to live by. And that's the fact of the real world of building a business. It's risky. Then it takes lots of gut-wrenching, like, am I going to make it through this kind of thing, right? Elon Musk is probably the most prolific entrepreneur of our age, right? Started SpaceX, came out of PayPal, helped to start that company. Now he's got Tesla going, Solar City. I mean, this guy is the consummate entrepreneur. And I remember watching an interview with this young journalist, this young tech kid who had gotten a hold of Elon Musk in Silicon Valley, and they were sitting in this little room doing an interview about entrepreneurship. And the little guy's like, hey, so excited to meet with Elon. Hey, this is incredible, Elon. You're like so incredible. You're like the big entrepreneur. You're the best one of our age, right? He goes, tell me what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And Elon Musk had the greatest answer, just this stoic stone face. And he looked at this kid and he said, well, being an entrepreneur is two things. Number one, it's like staring into the abyss every day, right? And number two, it's like eating glass every day. And this kid, you just see the blood drain out of his face, this little journalist. And he's like, well, that wasn't the answer I was expecting to hear. I was expecting to hear how cool it is and how fun and how you hang out with all the celebrities and how you became a billionaire and all these things. Nah, nada. Staring into the abyss and eating glass every day. Now, the great news about Nu Skin is I've never felt like that. You know, have I wondered in the future where my next leaders are going to come from? Have I wondered how I'm going to advance my business to the next step? How I'm going to motivate people in my team? Sure, I've wondered about all those things over the years, but I haven't had to worry about making payroll and having huge legal issues and like all these different things that happen in traditional business. So when you find a 9 or a 10, who's successful and you're shaking in your boots because you're going to walk in and talk to them, or you're trying to pick up the phone and get the courage to, get this person on the phone, and they're either a friend or a family member or a business contact or somebody you just met a few times, a casual acquaintance, and you're scared because you feel like you're walking into this person with this maybe smaller sized business than this perception you have of how powerful and big this person is, right? In my mind, I used to sit there and I was like, be so nervous about this. And I would figuratively say, yeah, here's this big business guy. He's sitting behind his desk, and I'm going to come in and try to pitch him on this amazing anti-aging, company and what we're going to do and how we're going to attack the worldwide markets and how we've got these baby boomers that are aging and millennials coming up and Generation Xers in between. And the whole population is, driven to anti-age, right, to preserve their youth. And we've got these products that can do it. And I just perceive myself sitting across the desk from this big, fat, successful business dude. And he's like, pulls out a 6-shooter and he goes, boom, boom, boom. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Boom, you're ridiculous. Why would you do that? Boom. They're not going to do that. Okay? That is not the case of what happens. When you understand what we have here in this opportunity and you go approach people that are 9s and 10s, guess what happens? Because they have the experience, because they get it, it's like, now wait a minute. You're telling me that there's no territories, there's no franchise fee, there's no $500,000 or $5 million investment. I don't got to go raise money with venture capitalists and do a Series A preferred round or something to finance my business. You mean I don't have to sit and deal with all these things and prima donna employees and people I'm trying to hire and keep on board and recruit the right kinds of people into my business at huge cost, and I have no money. It's all this money going out the door, no real cash flow. I'm years from being cash positive. Let me tell you something. When you stop and you go talk to people that get it, they are blown away about the structure of this business, the rate at which we can scale the business, the upside of the business, and the ability, and this is like the killer piece, right, to idle back, right? I mean, I don't think you can ever just stop and say, well, I'm done doing Nu Skin. I never have to do anything again. That's not the truth, okay? That just is not reality. Any business, you're going to have to tend it and maintain it and do things. But it's not the same effort as when you launch your business, It can be like all-consuming, right? When your business really explodes and starts to run out there, and we have businesses that are running really fast today in the Nu Skin world, right here in the United States, right? When that business starts to run like crazy, you're like the space shuttle. You got the extra 2 like rocket boosters strapped onto the side. You got the main helium fuel tank in the middle, right? And you're like using these extra boosters to like blast this thing into orbit and break gravity. And that's what it is when you like go after this business. You want to hit this thing aggressive. You want to change your life and your future. You got to strap on the extra fuel, the extra rocket boosters, right? You got to break gravity. But once you break gravity and you have built a network, you've built a team, it's deep, it's strong, it's got lots of rubies and lots of diamonds in your team, thousands, tens of thousands of customers using product every day. Now you've built something substantial. And it doesn't take that much effort to keep it into orbit. Once you break gravity, just like the space shuttle, it's a little firing of a booster rocket here and a booster rocket there, and just kind of making it your day, right? It's just part of your day. It's part of what you do. And you don't have to have this Herculean effort to, build something really big, really fast in the business. It's already in orbit, and you're just tending that. And your lifestyle becomes what we've always told everybody. Your lifestyle becomes incredible. It becomes amazing, right? And the world we live in today, we've got all these mobile devices so that we can literally do our business from a mountaintop, on a chairlift, on a ski run, sitting down on the beach. We can do this business and integrate it into a lifestyle people can't even believe. It's a business without walls, without boundaries, and it spills over oceans and goes around the world. So it is phenomenal what can happen in this business. Now, that is just a little bit about recruiting up. Let me just mention a couple of things that happen. We're always sifting for leaders. It doesn't matter if I go do a post and I've got 100 people that purchase toothpaste. Guess what? That's just a bigger funnel, right? So what that is it's just a way for me to start sifting through, because my ultimate objective is I'm looking for leaders. Don't ever forget the sight of that goal in this business, okay? If you want to be big and you want to have this kind of lifestyle I'm describing, the kind of lifestyle that I enjoy and thousands of other leaders in Nu Skin enjoy, then it's about creating a team of leaders. They will all have dozens, even hundreds of customers, okay? Nu Skin is really turned, it's really like shifted its focus. We're really becoming a customer-centric company. And the systems and processes and things are in place and are being built and enhanced to further expand that and make it something really special on the front end, which is why it is so dynamic today and really supercharges our entire business that we've had all these years. So that is why I'm so excited about it. I can see this massive contribution, this solidification of what happens on the front end of this compensation plan because of this social selling model, right? So that is what is really exciting, but don't ever lose sight of the fact that it's about leadership. It's about executive creation, right? It's about being able to take all these customers that now become, enamored with the quality of the products we have and taking this big funnel and bringing it in. And we're looking for those people that are not satisfied, that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, that want to build a business, that want the kind of control of their life that we can offer them. And so we're sifting. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that you can improve your odds? Can you increase your ratios of success if you're pushing up the economic food chain every time instead of going down the economic food chain? You absolutely can, because of all those reasons we just described. The more successful people have been economically and socially in their life, the broader their circle of influence will be. And that means that they have, like birds of a feather running together, they have others that they associate with in those same economic stratas. Don't kid yourself. This is a fact of life, guys, okay? It's why it's always hard for you to feel like you're going to insert yourself into a higher economic strata and hobnob with those people and hang around those people. But you got to do it, right? You read, you improve, you push yourself, right? You discipline yourself. You become a different person, a better person, more consistent, more focused. And then those people want to hang around you. And we've said this for a long time. You will become the average of your 5 closest friends. So who are you associating with? Who are you hanging around? What you got to do is change yourself, be desirable, make sure that you're attracting those kinds of things, right? This attraction, marketing is really attracting different economic stratas to yourself and inserting yourself into those stratas as you go up. And all of a sudden, you get people that are very connected. You get people that have lots of influence with their circle. When they speak, people listen, right? They pay attention. And you call them on the phone and say, you got to look at this. I'm sending my friend over to talk to you. You got to see this device, or you got to see what these people are doing with online marketing, right? And it all of a sudden changes the game completely. So we save time, we find leaders faster, we increase our efficiency of recruiting. Our ratios go higher. We have more success because the invitations coming and the introductions coming with a lot more credibility, right? And it's because they get it. This means you increase your odds of finding those leaders, and you increase your odds of finding those leaders faster, okay? So that's exactly why when we talk about recruiting up, you need to put this concept in your brain. And you need to say, my goal is to get out of my comfort zone and go to these people that I perceive are higher than me on the food chain that are scary. They're scary for me to approach them because I think that they know something I don't know. And you know, guys, until you've been in our business like as long as I have and you understand the power of what we have, I say this all the time. I know you've heard me say this before. This is the best business people will ever see. There's nothing better than this that they will ever see. And so have that kind of confidence when you're out recruiting and approaching and prospecting and gathering customers, interacting online, whatever you're doing, have that confidence. You see those people higher on that economic strata, boom, they're your target. You go right after them and you recruit up. And that will evolve upwards in your entire business instead of devolving your business and narrowing your access to leaders and lowering your percentages and reducing your odds, okay? All right, well, I think that we've beat this thing to death. I think that I've covered this point sufficiently in terms of recruiting up, and I hope that it makes sense to you and that you feel like, you can now look at the business and look at prospects in a little bit different way. Okay. All right, I'm going to go because we got about 4 minutes. I'm just going to go back to a couple of questions that you have sent in over the last couple of weeks. Talk about 1 or 2 of these right now, okay? So this is Ask Anything Friday, and I have been taking the liberty to lay down on video on these Facebook Lives these basic concepts of network marketing. And so now we've done this, we've got this library, and over time as I see where I need to clarify some of these bedrock principles, I'll do another one of these on these specific topics so that you kind of understand a little deeper about how to build leadership in this business. Okay, so let's see here. Here's a question. Okay. How do women approach men and prospect them into the business? Okay. All right, so this is an interesting question. How do women prospect men? Okay, well, probably just the regular way you'd prospect anybody else, right? Have confidence, understand what you're going to say, and go after those people. Now, a word of caution, okay? Women, you guys have kind of an advantage because men probably want to talk to you, right? They're going to be open to the conversation, but it's really kind of a tricky thing because you got to make sure that the conversation goes down a business path and not like a personal path, right? And so that can be a little bit of a challenge. And you can change that challenge. You can improve it by the way you approach these people, by making sure it's like a business approach. Make sure it's fun. Make sure you're having a good time. Make sure you're doing all those things. But you don't want them to think you're hitting on them, right? And I've watched this over the years, and it's just like a fine line. But you guys understand it. You know where the line is. It's really easy to go down the business path and keep it on that vein and make it really happen in a very positive and powerful way. And so, don't be afraid of grabbing these men and pulling them into the business, right? The men who understand it will be entrepreneurs. There'll be people that say, yep, I want to look better. I want to feel better. I want my teeth whiter. I want to have skin that looks better. I want to be healthier. I want to trim fat off my body. They're going to understand this whole concept of youth preservation and anti-aging, and they're going to plug into it like that. They're entrepreneurs, right? Sometimes you're going to find guys that are not going to, they have no interest in this stuff, and that's because they're bums probably, and they probably don't even shave, and they probably just don't even take care of themselves, and they're not going to be that interested in what we're talking about here. That's fine. It's just like anybody, If they're not at 12 o'clock, they're not open, they're not looking, they don't have a need for some of our product for some reason, or they don't perceive it. They definitely have a need, but they perceive they don't have a need. They're not open, so you're not going to be able to grab these people. And so that's something in regards to men. I think it's important to note that in our business today, we're about 75% women and 25% men. Okay, so it's just a ratio of what is attracting about our business, our company, our product lines. And so you're probably not going to fight that ratio. So, understand that and get used to that. Okay, let's see here. What's another one? Let's see here. I think I actually am going to go to my other list here because I know I've got one more minute. I can take care of this with you guys. There's one more question here. Okay, well, how about a simple one? What do you say to someone if they say, I need to check the ingredients first? I would probably say, okay, go check the ingredients. That's good. You go read them, and then let's talk tomorrow, or let's talk in 15 minutes, or what do you need to know about the ingredients? Be specific with me. Help me understand what you're looking for, so I can answer the question and or direct you to the right people. I don't know if you guys are aware, but it's not up to you to know the ingredients in every product. I probably can't tell you, 5 of the ingredients in hardly any one of our products. That's not the point, right? Those are the minor things. We got to focus on the benefits of what people receive, right? Their diminishment of lines and wrinkles, their skin glows, their texture changes, right? Their teeth are whiter, they're brighter, they're trimmer, they've got more energy, they don't get sick, they've taken life back, they've got all these things. So we focus on the benefits that the products deliver. If they have some deep technical question, what's your first thing? 800-487-1000, right? 800-487-1000. Memorize it. Say, call the product specialist. Once you get your answer, let's talk. Simple way to handle that question. Okay, I hope this has been a meaningful broadcast for you today. Exciting times. I am so pumped about what's happening in our business right now, and you're going to learn a lot more about it as the weeks and the days roll on here. So make sure you're plugging into these General's calls every morning at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, and we'll see you next time right here. All right, bye everybody.